Good anytime, my fuzzies, to a quick review of a game I just finished. All opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, so just please enjoy and don't take them too seriously. Thank you. Good anytime, my fuzzyites, and welcome to a quick review of Evil Dead, the 2013 version. Quick review. As I usually do for these quick reviews, I just give my overall thoughts on the project, go into specific details on like the story, characters, setting, and other good stuff like that. Just discussing my thoughts, how I feel about it, if things could be done better, if they couldn't, who knows. We'll see. Without further ado, overall with Evil Dead 2013, it's a pretty good film. It definitely goes more into like trying to actually horrify you or gross you out and whatnot, with not many jump scares, but still some jump scares. So if you're not a fan of really over the top horror with no comedy and are into the Evil Dead series because of all the comedy that it's gone into, especially into Army of Darkness and Beyond, this probably isn't for you, but it looked good. It felt good. It's a weird way for the series to go into more, scares, but a lot of the different movies do that, especially horror movies. When they go back to a remake, they bring back more of the horror elements rather than being comedy or just like fluff. They actually try to make it look as real and gritty as possible. Whereas Ash has always been more of a B-movie thing, a fantastic B-movie thing, king of the B-movies. This one's still pretty good. I recommend giving it a look if you haven't actually watched it yet. Or done the watch along with me, like we just did. Unless you're watching on YouTube, then that was yesterday. Besides that, going into the story. So the story is similar to very similar to the Evil Dead one. It's a remake, somehow connected mess thing, but basically Maya, who has a drug addiction, which is unfortunate, is trying to get over it, so her friends and her brother, who she hasn't seen in a long time, go to a cabin that was owned by their parents, and they kind of, they try and stay there and help Maya get over her drug addiction. Unfortunately, they find the book, they read from the book, Maya gets possessed, and all hell breaks loose as characters, one after another, start getting attacked, taken over, and then very gorily brutalize themselves or others. Just through many different ways, many different creative ways that are sickening. All the way, so yeah, that goes on, slowly killing them. Her brother, David, finally gets her, knocks her out, is able to bury her to purify her, and then brings her back just to be killed off. And as she dies, the 5 souls that were given to the Kandarian demons, if that's even what they're called in this, resurrect the almighty Deadite thing, whatever it is, the god of whatever, who tries to kill Maya, but Maya is able to kill him, or her, or it, very quickly. And then that stops the end of the world, I guess? I don't know, it's kind of weird. But overall for the story, if you want the Evil Dead from a different timeline of how things could have gone, it's pretty decent. The characters are good enough. The story is different enough from the original for what goes on and how people are axed off and whatnot, and even the ending is a far cry away from the original-ish. Yeah, it is. So if you wanted the Evil Dead but don't like the comedy of it, of the story and whatnot, and wanted something, to see how it might have gone differently, this is a fine alternate take on the Evil Dead story and whatnot. Pretty good. Going on to the characters, and I'm going to bring my phone over, because I know 4 of the characters' names, I think. But the last one escapes me. I don't think they said her name quite a bit. So let me just 13 cast. Olivia, that's her name. So, for characters, you of course have the titular main character being Maya, who is a drug addict. She is the first one attacked and possessed by the demon, but because of her drug addiction, they think she's just faking it, doing it for attention, which is wrong, but it adds to the terror of the person you're talking to you think isn't telling the truth is, but gives more of a guidance to him because she's had drug problems. She's trying to get over that. And it's not an easy thing to do, unfortunately. But she was a good character. Becoming dead, she really did a good job being the psycho deadite version of herself, doing horrible things to others and herself to gross out everyone and whatnot, and even coming back and doing what was right and killing the main threat, who was surprisingly easy to kill. And then you have David, who is the brother who was estranged. I guess he didn't go. He kind of left and didn't want to see her, Maya, or their mother, who was in the mental institution and not doing so well, who died not too long ago before the events of the film, I believe. Kind of estranged from the family, which I guess that's why, because he didn't want to see the mother like that, his mother like that. But he's fine. He's at first unsure of what to do, panicking, not wanting this to go on. Slowly, like, yeah, we have to do it for her. Stuff happens. He's kind of there, just like Ash was in the original, which I'll try not to compare too much, but he did more than Ash did in the original, I'll say that. Eventually. And yeah, so he's kind of the brother who won't give up on his sister, brings her back, and sacrifices himself in the end to hopefully stop the Deadites, which doesn't work. But, well, he stopped the one at least. Maybe two. And overall, fine, gets the job done, is compelling to watch at least, and whatnot. Then you have Olivia, who is the doctor. She's the nurse. She's kind of there to try and make sure, like, hey, we're doing this, we're going to do this, we're not going to let her go. And make sure if she gets injured or anything, she's there to take care of her with tranquilizers and whatnot to calm her down. There's not much else to say there. She got upset from David's girlfriend, Natalie, calling her a doctor when she's a nurse, which didn't go anywhere. It's not like Olivia was like, I fucking hate her. She's the worst piece of Natalie is the worst piece of shit around here. So it's kind of like drama for no reason, I guess. Maybe there was. Maybe I didn't read into it more. But yeah, she's kind of there just to be killed off in a gruesome way and trying to kill others in a gruesome way. Then you have Eric, who is more... He finds the Necronomicon with David in the cellar. He opens it up. He starts reading it, unleashes the demons, and uses his knowledge of reading it to hopefully end it, giving David the advice to bury his sister, to purify her. He also doesn't like David for abandoning them. Again, they make a big deal about it, but they don't really, I guess, abandoning it sucks, but they don't really go into really why he abandoned them and how that really affected everyone at all. Kind of weird, kind of makes sense. It's a weird limbo thing. But I liked him reading the book, trying to solve it. I like them using the book to try and solve the thing rather than just burning it at the end, like in Evil Dead 1. I think he read it in that too, but trying to actually like piece it together and whatnot, give more lore to the book, and he helped with that, and that was good. And then you have Natalie, who is David's girlfriend, who is, again, kind of just there. It's unfortunately how they do a lot with these girls in these movies, is they're just kind of there with not much going on, or the promise of something going to be able to go on with them, like Kelly in the TV show being a leader, but then she doesn't really get the chance at all. And when she does, she's just killed off. It's a weird thing. But yeah, she's kind of just girlfriend to David. You don't even really understand their relationship, how long they've been together. She's just another person there to be killed off. Which every horror movie needs to do that. And Maya really did a good job being the main female lead in this, with David and Eric following behind her. But yeah. Oh. Overall, the characters are good. They're at least compelling. I want to see them continue. Some of what they do makes sense. Others don't. What doesn't make sense? There was something. Yeah, David just, I guess he was in shock, so he didn't do much quickly as stuff was going on, but come on, man. Your friend's about to be shot by a nail gun. Get off your ass and, take her out. Which he does, but after, 10 shots and whatnot. Overall, fine characters. Means to an end, like always. I'd like to see where Maya's story continues from here. If it does, I don't think Evil Dead Rise continues this story. I think it goes someplace else, which we'll see soon. But overall, characters are good. And then on to the setting, being at a cabin, which is similar. It has a similar-esque layout to the cabin in the original Evil Dead movie, while being a little different, which kind of gives the gravitas or distinction that this is more of a different timeline, as things aren't exactly the same as they are in the first cabin. If it was a one-to-one creation, that would be like, hey, here you go. This is the exact same place they are, which again, the timeline thing seems pretty weird if they were exactly in the same universe. But who knows? Maybe they are, and it's just, for me, it's a different timeline. Like 1, 2, and Evil Dead 1 and 2 and Army of Darkness were just telling the same tale, but from different timelines. From having the 4 friends there, or the 5 people at the cabin in 1, just Ash and his girlfriend in 2, and then in Ash versus Evil Dead, they are all there. Just weird, Weird continuity. Weird timeline shenanigans throughout all these movies and the TV show. But yeah. Overall, with the cabin, it looks creepy. There's not much to do. I don't know. It makes sense for layout. I don't know what to talk about. It's the cabin. The cabin in the woods. Ooh. With the downstairs and whatnot as well. It all works. It all gives you the area you play in. It's in the forest with a river that goes along the road so they can't escape, rather than the whole bridge making the hand up so they can't escape. Making it more natural disaster that strands them rather than supernatural disaster, which is nice. Overall, fine place. It looks good. It feels good. It's all good. While being similar enough to the Evil Dead cabin, that you go, yep, that's the porch with the thing. There's the shed over there. The shed looks like this. Some things are different, but again, for me, it's a different timeline. After that, the special effects. The special effects were done really well, really bloody. There was a lot of good kills, attacks, mutilations, and whatnot. Just, ugh. Terrible, but good. So if you like body horror and people getting cut up, cutting themselves up, and using all manners of different tools to do so in just very weird, creative, and destructive ways, this has some good stuff. And some stuff I've never seen before. The girl cutting her tongue with a box cutter. That was terrifying. Using the syringe and cutting around the eye / getting the glasses broken. And then it being stuck in his cheek so he had to pull it out. But yeah, all in all, for the special effects, looked really good. And whatnot. Definitely good, worth a watch for some good gore, as all these Evil Dead stuff is. And then moving on to The Legacy. How it stacks up. Again, this is more of a different timeline thing. I don't know if or how it even connects to the original trilogy slash series and whatnot. Like I said, to me, this is more of a different scenario where Ash and whatnot went there. Something happened where either they all died or whatnot, so they didn't leave, hence the car being there. But evil also wasn't really released. Or Ash put them back, taped up the thing, and ended up dying from his own wounds. Who knows? Different timeline. But then he's back at the credits in the end anyways. But being Evil Dead, the Deadites act kind of differently. Well, sort of. The movie in all is more of a more horror-driven show or movie, rather than the normal Evil Dead being more of a comedy-driven. So, like, the Deadites, they still possess people. They still possess people by attacking others. They mutilate each other. They mutilate their victims. They have fun with it. They do a tricky thing, turning back to what their victims look like to get you to think, no, they're fine, and whatnot. Little different than the normal Deadites, but still fun. Still, the core is still the same for a lot of this. And overall, it's just good. So, in conclusion, the movie, while there's not... If you're looking for Evil Dead, if it took it a lot more serious and was just as bloody and whatnot, this is a good place to go. It's really bloody, still creative. A third thing, really bloody. The story is interesting. But yeah, so like I said in the beginning, overall, if you were looking for the Evil Dead with more of a less B-movie vibe and more of them actually trying to make a really, really good, honest horror film with really going really, really heavy on the horror aspect and less on the goofy campiness aspect, this might be for you. I enjoyed it rewatching it now without comparing it fully to Evil Dead. It does do a fine enough job standing on its own. It has its own story going on and whatnot. Overall, I recommend it. Give it a watch. But either way, that's it for me now. I will probably be back in a bit with Evil Dead Rise. So, look out for that stream starting sometime soon as I do other things and be back to it. But, thank you my brothers for watching, and I'll see you next anytime. Take care.